What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Benchwarmers Sports, and this is the post-draft recap for the Cleveland Browns. They did it. They did something that a lot of people were kind of dreading that the Browns would do, and they decided to trade down from the number 2 pick, and they traded that pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who went up and took Travis Hunter with the number 2 pick. But the Browns did get a pretty decent haul for moving back to the number 5 pick. They only moved down 3 spots, but they got a pretty decent haul for moving down 3 spots. They got the number 5 pick, as we mentioned. They got a 4th-round pick this year. I believe a 6th-round pick this year as well. And then the key one, a 2026 first-round pick. So essentially, they got 2 first-round picks for moving back 3 spots in this draft. And now they took the number 5 pick and they used that number 5 pick on defensive lineman Mason Graham out of Michigan. And a lot of people, including myself, were not happy with the pick, as you guys could see, probably if you guys watched my reaction video last night that I posted. But after sleeping on this draft, and after, letting the first round play out and sleeping on it, what are my thoughts about what the Browns did in the first round? Do I like it? Did I change my mind? Am I still, anti, trade back and this and that? I will say I think the Browns for moving down 3 spots, what they got from this draft and from the trade, I think it was a good move for the Browns, at least in the pieces that they got for only trading down 3 spots. They essentially got 2 first-round picks for moving back 3 spots. That's a really good thing for the Browns. I really do, think that's a good move for the Browns to make. My issue, though, is that you take a guy like Mason Graham, who, and I'll be upfront, I'm not necessarily the craziest about drafting a defensive tackle at number 5 when all of your key issues are on offense and one of the best running backs we've seen coming out of college football, probably the best we've seen since Saquon Barkley coming out of college, is right there for you at the number 5 pick. That's the part that I think I'm not necessarily seeing why the Browns would make that move for Graham. And I saw the reports before the draft started, before the Browns even had the number 2 pick around the clock, that if they would trade back, that their focus would be on, the offensive or defensive line, which I don't know how many more assets that you could pump into those, offensive line, obviously, I think, the Browns do need help, especially at the offensive tackles spots, because you have 2 injury-prone guys at left and right tackle, and DeJuan Jones and Jack Conklin. But defensive line, I just thought that you could get a lot, there was a lot of defensive linemen in this draft that I think that the Browns could, get later on in this draft, that they didn't necessarily need to use a top 5 pick on a defensive lineman when you probably could have gotten one, maybe not the same, caliber as Mason Graham, but, a James Pierce Jr. later on or something like that. That's just me. I rather would have had Ashton Genty at the number 5 pick than Mason Graham. But I'll be honest, everyone who I talk to who knows, Mason Graham, who's played against Mason Graham in college football, they said the guy's a stud. They say he's a really good player. I'm not disagreeing with that. He probably could be a really good all-pro, NFL D tackle. But for the team right now, for the Browns right now, when all of our problems are on offense, I rather would have had a offensive player at the number 5 pick, or hell, even just drafting Travis Hunter. Probably would have been fine with that. I would have preferred that. Drafting Travis Hunter at number 2. But getting 2 number 1 picks for only moving back 3 spots, I'm not as mad about that as I was last night, as in the spur of the moment. I'm not as mad about that today as I was yesterday. But man, for me, I don't think, taking a D tackle who I'm sure is probably, I hope he's great. I hope he's an all pro. He's the next Aaron Donald. I really hope so. I hope he's the next Aaron Donald. But do I think that the Browns need defensive help more than offensive help? No. I think that they could have gotten someone on the offensive side of the ball at number 5, like an Ashton Genty, or an offensive lineman like Kelvin Banks, or yeah. I mean, I think that the defensive lineman at number 5 is just what is getting to me. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope he absolutely terrorizes this the rest of the league and becomes the best player in this draft in the first round that came out of the first round. I really do. I really hope so. But man, when you had a guy like Travis Hunter who's right there and you just pass up on him, like, I'm sorry to say it felt like Julio Jones all over again. It felt like you're passing up on a guy. Now, granted, it's not as bad. The trade back is not as bad as the Julio Jones one. The Julio Jones one, I mean, you're trading back 15 spots for a second round pick and in another number 1 pick from the Falcons. But man, I mean, you just had a guy who's Travis Hunter who could solve or at least address a lot of the problems that you're having on the offensive side of the ball, and who is, like many people are saying, on the offensive side of the ball, he's like Justin Jefferson, and the other side, he's like Charles Woodson. I mean, man, oh man. It's like you pass up on that guy for Mason Graham, who's a good player, who's really good. He's a really good, defensive tackle in college. And he played on one of the best defenses in college football. You just pass up on that guy to go for Mason Graham, and then but then on the other side, you get another number 1 overall pick next year, which you're essentially banking on the fact that the Jacksonville Jaguars are not going to be good. That's where you just have to hope that your bet works out. So, like I said, I'm not as mad about it as I was last night, but I just feel like the Browns could have had a better pick at that spot. I mean, I'm frustrated because I'm hoping this works out, but history proves or tells us that Cleveland Browns do not do anything smart. They think they're smart, but they're not smart. They think they're outsmarting everybody when they're actually outsmarting themselves. They had a guy right there as with Travis Hunter. They decided to balk on him, go somewhere else. And Andrew Berry said they're looking towards the future next year to, fix the Browns. That's what I wanted them to do with the quarterback. I'm glad they didn't take a quarterback round 1. Now we'll see tonight. They have picks 33 and 36 from the trade with Jacksonville. They got pick 36 from that trade with Jacksonville. We'll see what they do with pick 36 and pick 33. Are they going to draft Shedeur Sanders, who's still there? Are they going to take a running back? Are they going to take Jalen Milroe? Jackson Dart's not there anymore because he got taken by the New York Giants at 25. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that the Browns can do this at 33 and 36. Are they going to trade back again? They're going to trade 33 because the last 3 years in a row, teams who are at 33 have traded the pick. So are they going to follow precedent the last couple of years by trading the pick, or are they going to actually stand put and stay and take an offensive player? This draft and this today, I think the Browns do need to take, because I think they have 4 picks today, I believe, right? They have two seconds and 2/3, I believe so. I think you need to come out of this day with a running back, a quarterback, an offensive lineman, and a wide receiver. I think all those sides, all that offensive firepower and all that offensive help, I think has to come today. Now, maybe offensive linemen can come tomorrow with rounds 4 through 7, but I think quarterback, running back, receiver has to come today in rounds 2 and 3. That's my hope that Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski and what they do. I hope that's what they're going to do. But as they have shown, they don't necessarily go through, what the holes need to be filled on this team. So I don't know what they're going to do. That's what I hope they're going to do. But anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What's your reaction to the Mason Graham pick? What do you guys think the Browns are going to do tonight in round 2 and 3 as they get going tonight at 7 o'clock? And make sure you guys hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And I will see you guys all in another video. Take care.